special. Why? Because we will be handling those questions or those points in these two lectures which may come in your exam. Which may, I'm not saying will come, may come. That's based on the experience of the staff at Adda 24/7. So it may. That's what we are guessing. Means looking at the last 5 to 6 exams, the repeated questions would be just informed you and given the information means what the questions can be. Okay. So this is all probability what we are talking of. Okay. So let's start with the motivation first. When obstacles arise, you can change your direction to reach your goal. You do not change your decision to get there, right? Same thing. I always repeat the same quote always on a daily basis. Why? Because same quote, remembering it in our blood is important. Okay. Download Adda 24/7 app on your mobile. Tell your friends also, share on the social media to get all the bank details of the banking exams as well as other government exams and other many big company exams also. Even these Navratnas conduct the exams. Okay. So exams of the material of that plus the video lectures for the same. Okay. So tell your friends, share on the social media. Use this code Y432 to avail flat 77% discount only on Adda 24/7 app. Okay. So let's start with today's topic. You use this code because this is 77% discount. Huge. Okay. So let's start with today's topics here. Today I'll try to cover mostly module A because module A is a bigger one. Module A is a bigger one and also important one. Means the biggest modules among these ABCD is A, and theory wise it's difficult. Okay. Only 10th and 11th chapter have the problems over here. So module A, what can be the probable questions? What can be? Huh? So first is balance of trade and balance of payment. Means not only I'm saying probable questions, you must also study these for CAIIB also, and as a banker also you should know all these things, right? So balance of trade and balance of payment, right? What is the difference between the two? Then what comes in balance of trade? Basically business accounts means the export and import is handled by balance of trade. And what about balance of payment? I've already covered this in my all these topics in my earlier lectures. So balance of payment means other, including trade, other payments also. Okay. So balance of payment will include balance of trade. Okay. So balance of payment and trade. Then second is demographic dividend. It should be DE&D dividend. Okay. So what is that basically? Demographic dividend. Demographic dividend means due to the shift in the age group, particularly I'm talking, means what does that this finance books give? Demographic dividend means due to the shifting of this age group in any country, means the working age group, the expected growth of that country within coming years is known as demographic dividend. Okay, dividend. What do you mean by dividend? The advantage which I'm getting. If I'm having shares, then what do you mean by dividend? Dividend means which I'm getting on those shares because of holding those shares. I'm getting some dividend. Similarly, over here, demographic dividend means if my country is holding a huge chunk of young populations, then definitely I'll get some dividend. My country will grow faster, right? India is having the best demographic dividend, right? Means no country is as young as India presently, if you check on Google also. So that is second point. Third is ISLM curve or Hicks-Hanson's theory. Generally, ISLM curve, there is this here 4. It's written over here. It means it's repeated roughly four times. Okay, or many times. Basically, you will call it. There can't be a paper without ISLM curve. Okay. And even there can't be a banker without knowledge of ISLM curve. That's plain and clear. Okay. You must know this ISN and LM curve. Now, what is ISN and LM? I've already covered that again, because if I go on giving the details of everything now, so it won't be the whole required portion which we have to cover, won't be covered over here. Okay, so kindly understand that ISLM curve which we have already covered over there. Kindly go and watch those videos also. Then basic difference between ISLM curve, right? Here, just one liner if you want. It's like this: IS always slopes downwards, LM always slopes upwards. Okay, IS is investment savings. Okay, and LM is what? Liquidity preference. That's called as P is silent over here. Okay, so this liquidity preference money supply, that's called as money curve, you can call it, but P is silent over there. Then next question you may get it on economic, this laissez-faire economy. What is laissez-faire? What are the three types of economies? Government controlled means generally we'll call it socialist. Then second is capitalist, right, where everything is controlled by the companies. And third is the mixed economy, where both of them are the mixtures. But what is laissez-faire then? Laissez-faire means, basically, remember, it's simply speaking this extreme case of capital economy. Extreme case. Even in capital economy, government has some function to do. It may be 10%, but in laissez-faire, 0%. Okay, nothing is controlled by government. Everything is controlled by capitalist only, means private companies. Then we have problem on CRR SLR. Now that is that you get it in module D also over here. Okay, so we can shift it over there. Problem on GDP deflector. So as I've told you regularly during my lectures, chapter number 10 and 11, you'll definitely get the questions, problems. Okay, so GDP deflator, you'll get those problems, and deflator will always be a case study. Okay, so what is a deflator? GDP deflator. GDP deflator is what? Just simple real upon nominal GDP, real GDP upon nominal GDP, right? Reverse way, actually, nominal upon real it is. Nominal is in the numerator. So nominal upon real. Okay, so what is nominal? Nominal is absolute without any base year. That is GDP. Check our GDP lectures. What is real GDP? Real GDP means basically it has a base year, and base year means what? For example, if I'll just take the benchmark of 2014 or 2012 as a benchmark. So what will I do in real GDP? What I'll do is I'll take the difference between the inflation levels of 12 and today, and then whatever the difference is, that will be my real GDP. Real GDP means, actually it means, why am I explaining this? Because this is a 5 marks question, and these things you need to understand. Basically, you need to get it through. Okay, so what is real GDP? Real GDP actually means, I've given you the how to find out. Okay, today minus that benchmark, that is real GDP. But what do you actually mean by that real GDP? It means that if nothing happens in this country or in any area, just because of the price rise, growing inflation, basically growing inflation, what all would be the changes in the lifestyle of the human beings, of the citizens, basically. So that is known as real GDP. So what is deflator again? Deflator is nominal upon real into 100. Okay, 100 is for percentage. Okay, then you will have this appraisal system is in module C again, HR. Then you'll have a case study on M1 and M2 concepts. Not only M2, it will be M3, M4 also. M1, M2, M3, M4 concepts, right? All that narrow money, broad money, right? M1, M2, narrow, M4, broad, right? Can anyone tell me what is M1, M2 money and M3, M4 money? Anyone? What does it mean? Think over it. I'll answer it. Not an issue. But you must think over it if you have studied. So what is M1, M2? M1 is what? Narrow money. What is that? It is just the floating money, means savings deposits in the banks. What is M2? Savings deposits in banks, means M1 plus savings in these post offices, right? And what is M3? M1 plus the FDs in the bank. What is M4? M3 plus this FDs in post. Basically all deposits are under M4. Study that video again, okay? Go through that video. Then 5 marks case study, you will get it on revenue capital deficit. Now, what is this revenue capital? Anyone remembers? Capital expense. Now, what is this for basically? This is a chapter 11 question, budget. Okay. So, what are the income sources of government? Anyone remembers? What are the two types of income sources? Capital income and revenue income, right? What is capital income? Capital income is firstly through non-debt and debt, right? Non-debt means what? Selling of the assets. What do you mean by assets? It can be shares, Navratna companies, anything. Government-owned companies, okay, or land banks, anything. And what is this debt-related capital? Means what basically? Taking loan from outside bank company, countries basically, or IMF or anything, okay, like that. What are the revenue sources? Means income sources from revenue model. Revenue means daily business. What is the business of government? Business of government is to collect the taxes, right? So revenue also has two parts, tax and non-tax. Okay. What is the tax revenue? Means whatever the taxes are collected, that is going to the government. And what is this non-tax? Non-tax means all that fees or fines which the government takes, right? When you apply for that exams, government exam, the exam fees goes to government only. So that is also a revenue source. Some other special assessments on some guys for income tax or something like that. Or it can be from any department, not only income tax. Special assessment can be from any forest department also. Okay. So any department. Okay. So 5 marks case study on that. Means what will be the case study then? Case study will be like this. What is the income, capital income of the government? And what will be the revenue, capital revenue of the revenue income of the government? And what are the expenses? They will be given to you. And only those cases, just subtract these figures and you'll get the deficit or surplus, whatever the question is. Okay. Then relationship between the demand and supply curve. Okay. What is demand curve and what is supply curve? By now you might have understood because just Sunday there's an exam 2 days from now. So what is demand curve? Demand curve, this is similar to that ISLM, right? IS goes down, similarly demand goes down. Supply goes up, similarly that LM goes up. Okay. So relationship between them is one is going down, demand is going down, slope is going up. Then where it matches, it's known as equilibrium. So that is also asked many times. What does equilibrium mean? Where is the equilibrium in the? A figure will be given to you, and you can get the case study also on this. Some demand curve will be given to you, supply curve will be given to you. There will be an equilibrium. Then they'll ask for some shift in demand and give you some figures for change in the output. Output means basically this demand versus time. That will be there. Then next is this features of money. This can also come by because this is growing now. What do you mean by money? Money means only notes. Means when we handle the note, currency notes, right? So that is money. Now, if that is money, then the question is, what are the features? Features means what? If you hold a note today, and even after 10 years, the rupee 100 rupee note will be 100 rupee note, right? So that's why it's the same. That is point number one, value, right? 100 today is 100 after 10 years. Of course, you can buy lesser things, but 100 is 100. Okay. So point number one, this. Point number two is what? Easily transferable. right? You can transfer this note 1,000 times, right? That is point number 2. Then there are in fact 5 to 6 features of this money, right? Easily exchangeable, all these things. So you can definitely check the videos on features of money, study that. Then next is liquidity preference in case of increase in interest rates. Now this is related to ISLM curve. Okay, liquidity preference means LM. In case of increase in interest rates means what? It basically means how will this LM curve, how will this LM curve move if the interest rates go up? Okay, if the interest rate go up, this LM curve will slope downwards. Always remember. Okay, means if the interest rate goes up, basically. So LM is what? How does LM move? IS and LM, right? IS slopes downwards, LM slopes upwards, right? So as the interest rates go up, this LM goes up. Okay, so basically you study that this effect of the interest rate on liquidity preference. Increase in money supply lowers interest rate and raising inflation. Now this was a question, specific question asked. Increase in money supply lowers interest rates. So if the money supply is increased, how will the money supply increase? Money supply will increase when the interest rates go down. Okay, so if the interest rates go down, money supply means CRR goes down, then definitely money supply will increase and it will raise the inflation. Okay, sometimes what happens, these two questions are combined, this liquidity LM curve and this money supply. Okay, because both are one and the same, just two sides of the same coin. Okay, then you are asked the definitions and some problems on this NDP. NDP means it can be called a GNP also, gross national product. So it is an annual measure of economic output of the nation that is adjusted to account for depreciation. This is many times repeated. What do you mean by NDP or GNP? Okay, sometimes they call it GNP, sometimes they call it NDP. So what is this? Another definition to it. NDP means it is equal to sum total of the value added at the factor cost, or net domestic product at factor cost, and net factor income from abroad. Now, what is this factor? Factor word always factor cost, factor income. Factor means basically those who are earning that. Now, who are earning that? Of course, these are human beings. Okay, either these are artificial persons or natural persons. Artificial means again these are companies or trusts or somebody, but they are also created by human beings only. So it ultimately boils down to human beings. Okay, so it is equal to some value of the some value added at factor cost. So this is generally the fill in the blank given. Okay, equal to sum total of value added at factor cost. And this formula is given that government spending plus government this budget for this outside means this expenditure basically. Then similarly, this capital spending means from privates, and then net of export and import. There's a big formula for finding out that GDP basically. So once you find out GDP, then how can you find out GNP from that or NDP from that? So just in GDP, what you do, whatever is prepared by outside guys, that is to be subtracted. And also whatever is prepared by Indian guys outside, that is to be added. So that is basically NDP. Okay. Then we'll check for module B, because today we'll try to complete A and B. Ultimate Z values calculation. Now, what was ultimate Z values here? What does ultimate Z give you? I've covered this. See, all these topics are already covered in video in our live lectures. So ultimate Z score gives, what does it give you? It gives you the chances of any company going into a bankruptcy. How fast does the company go into bankruptcy? That is covered in ultimate. So it's a good ratio. It is a combination of 5 ratios, basically, right? Now, what are the combinations? Basically, these are many, means or total 5 are there. And you have to basically study the weightage as well as the ratios. Okay. So there are various, means working capital upon this assets. Then again, there's another one. There are many as such. Okay, 5 are there. So you study that along with the weightage. Next is this compound interest. Now these are simple problems. Compound interest, because always CAIIB will have roughly 15 to 20 simple problems, which will be easily means even if you are in 9th standard, you will be able to solve it. Okay. So some problems are there, but some 10 to 20 problems would be like that also, in which even you have done PhD, you will find it difficult. Okay. So compound interest, two questions, generally 2 to 3 questions are asked. Now they are asked in various ways. Amount is asked, or principal is asked, or something like that. Now next, you'll get a question on factoring or forfeiting. You definitely get it. So what is factoring? What is forfeiting? What is the difference? Or how it works, right? Then simulation definition means what? Simulation and correlation. Simulation and this correlation and regression. Then simulation, we have a separate chapter, we have separate lectures for that. So that simulation will be covered. Now definition means what? No, your definition is asked, but there is also a case study on simulation. Generally, you get it. You get it for 3 marks, simulation 1. Okay. Because correlation case study, you'll get it for 5 marks. We have covered that over there. And now, then you will get present value, future value. Present value, future value means what? These are 1 mark questions, roughly 2 to 3. Find the present value, find the future value. Simple formula you have studied already in JAIIB. Same thing repeated. Then 5 to 6 questions on probability. Probability means those 3 types of probabilities which you have in this ABM. Which one? What are the 3 types? Anyone remembers? In your Macmillan, it's given. Which one? Bernoulli, binomial. And third one is, anyone? Yes. Anyone? Yes. Poisson, right? Binomial, Bernoulli, binomial, and Poisson. Simple. Then after these 3, you also have those cards problems, or generally cards, yeah, cards, deck of cards, all those things, right? So basically these questions on probability, 5 to 6 questions on probability. Then correlation, you will definitely have 1 case study. Definitely 5 marks. Now 1 case study means 5 marks, and it's simple that we have done that. X is given and Y is given to you, and 4 to 5 values are given to you of both X and Y. You have to find the correlation line, means Y equals to A plus BX. You have to find A and B. Okay. How to find it? We have covered that. How to find it? Can anyone tell me? First, what do we do? First, find X, given X, add them, summation X, and then average, right? Summation X upon N, right? Similarly for Y. Then what do? You find X square, you find Y square, you find XY, right? X square, again, summation of all, average of all, right? Then what? We find that this variance of X, then variance of Y, and covariance of XY. Once you find out the variance, you will immediately find out that standard deviation. Standard deviation is what? Standard deviation is square root of variance, right? And what is the formula for variance? Anyone? Let's say variance of X. What is the formula? Summation X square upon N, small n, right? N means number of elements, minus X bar the whole square, right? So summation X square upon N minus X bar the whole square. Same thing over for Y. Same thing for XY. Instead of X square, you'll use Y square in variance of Y. And in covariance of XY, what will you use? You'll use XY. Means summation XY upon N minus X bar dot Y bar. There won't be a square because already the power is 2 for X bar dot Y bar or XY, right? So that you'll get it as a this case study. So you find variance X, variance Y, and covariance XY, and then relative standard deviations. And then what do you find? You find that what we call coefficient of correlation, R, right? What is the formula for coefficient of correlation? Anyone remembers? What is it? Anyone knows? Already taught to you. So that is what it is. Covariance of xy upon psi x psi y, means standard deviation of x into standard deviation of y. Okay. So once you find out R, that is generally for 3 marks. R will have 1 mark. Okay. Then what? Next you'll have to find what that this B. What is the formula for B? Covariance of xy upon variance of x. Okay. Then you'll have to find out A. How to find out A? Just input the value of B, x bar, y bar, and then you'll get the value of A. That's it. You have got A, you have got B. So you have got the equation y equals to A plus bx. So that is only asked. 5 marks case study. It's very easy if you follow that video. Then LPP1 case study. LPP case study means what? Something will be given to you. Given means what? There is one machine. The machine time is limited to 4 hours. Then the employee time is limited to, let's say, 8 hours. Then write the constant equations like this. And then also there would be one case study on, or some one-liner on this, write the objective equation, whether to maximize or minimize. Remember, in any LPP problem or LPP study, there are only 2 things. One is constraint, second is objective. Okay. Then in objective, there are again 2 things. Either it's a cost or it's a profit. If it's a cost, it is to be minimized. If it's a profit, it is to be maximized. That's it. Then mean and standard deviation, 2 problems. Means, what do you mean by mean and standard deviation? Here, this is generally related to binomial. Okay. Binomial, we have separate formula for mean and standard deviation. Specifically for binomial. And that comes many times. Okay. So kindly study that. Then debtor and creditor velocity, that is in module D module. Okay. This debtor turnover ratio, creditor turnover ratio. Then variance question you will be getting. Okay. So variance. Okay. So variance means you will have to study that. What is variance and how it is calculated? What is the standard deviation? How to calculate standard deviation from variance? Okay. So that was it. The purpose of mine, because I didn't have to give you any lecture on any topic today. Even tomorrow, I'm planning for the same module C and D. So that, see, after all, passing the exam is important. Just gaining knowledge. If I tell you, you'll gain the knowledge with my lectures, but I can't guarantee you about passing the exam. Then you'll say to hell with you. Similar, right? Practical, right? Or if I tell you, you can only pass the exam, but no knowledge. Then also some guys of you might say, no, we are bankers. We have already done all that exam business, right? So there should be a balance between knowledge as well as exams. Both the things should be there. Both are important, right? So that's why I always try to keep the balance in my lectures. Okay. So study that. Only 1 or 2 days are remaining. Means tomorrow is Saturday, then Sunday. Okay. Study that. Study fast, and join our app. Join our Adda 24/7. Download this app. Tell your friends so that you can get all the latest video lectures on CAIIB as well as other banking and non-banking government exams also. Use this code Y432 to avail a flat discount of 77% on this Adda 24/7 app. Okay. So bye from my side.